Today's Supreme Court decision upholding birthright citizenship was not only a professional victory for the lawyer who argued to save it, but also a deeply personal one. That's because as the daughter of immigrants from Taiwan, she is herself a birthright citizen. Cecilia Wong, National Legal Director of the ACLU, joins me now. A big day for you, a big day for this country. This was narrower than a lot of folks anticipated. Cecilia, were you surprised at all by today's ruling?
Was I surprised by the ruling? No, not at all. I am joining millions of my fellow Americans in celebrating this win, with 6 members of the Supreme Court voting to strike down the president's executive order, which tried to rewrite the 14th Amendment's birthright citizenship clause and rewrite the statute that Congress wrote to implement that. It's a great day. We are safe thanks to the efforts of our brave clients, hundreds of thousands of American families who stood to be directly harmed by the president's executive order, and the millions of Americans who stood up with us in support of this foundational American right of birthright citizenship.
Cecilia, even with this outcome, let's be honest, the process itself absolutely terrorized communities. My American-born friends who have adopted foreign-born children, my friends who were here on green cards when they had their children, they have spent months in a scramble worried that this would upend their children's ability to stay in this country, to call this country their home. How deep a sigh of relief can they actually breathe today?
We've already heard from our 3 clients who are the representatives of the class here, who all have said, as your friends did, they've been under this cloud where the president of the United States was trying to undo this foundational right that all Americans have relied on for 150 years. And so all of them are gratified by this decision. And I want to congratulate everyone who was part of our class and the plaintiff class. And again, all of the Americans who stood up in support of birthright citizenship. This victory belongs to all of us and to the American people.
Let's talk about Justice Kavanaugh, because he concurred with the majority opinion in part, but also disagreed that Trump's executive order violated the 14th Amendment. He says Congress could make a law taking away birthright citizenship from children of non-citizens in the country temporarily or illegally. Trump posted that Congress should start today on making that happen. Why in the world does Brett Kavanaugh think Congress has the right to change the 14th Amendment?
Well, Justice Kavanaugh's opinions, which he wrote with just for himself, with no one else joining him, would have struck down the president's executive order just on the ground that it conflicted with the statute that Congress enacted for the first time in 1940. The president has already said he's going to get Congress to work. Well, that's going to fail because a majority of the court, the decision of the court, is that the president's executive order violates the Equal Protection Clause. This is a right that was forged through the Civil War. It's a right that free Black Americans fought for. Contrary to what the president claims, free Black Americans did not fight for birthright citizenship only for themselves. As Justice Jackson wrote in her concurring opinion today, the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause is profoundly repudiation of caste distinctions in American society. So the president can spin this decision all he wants. He can call on Congress for help, but the Supreme Court has decided this issue definitively and reaffirmed its decision from 1898, where the court has rejected the executive branch's position time and again. All of us are safe now. Birthright citizenship is safe, and we can celebrate that victory.
You told the New York Times, quote, "Your parents could be undocumented immigrants who fled here with nothing but the clothes on their back, or your ancestors could have come on the Mayflower, but you and I are exactly the same as U.S. citizens." On America's 250th anniversary, why does that fundamental principle matter today, perhaps more than ever?
This is something that's so meaningful to all of us, really, all of us in this country who can trace our ancestry to that first American ancestor, whether it's your parent whether it's your great-great-grandfather or your great-great-grandmother. There was someone in your family, if you have an immigrant background, who was the first American. And so even though President Trump's executive order targeted people who had lawful but temporary status in this country or people who are undocumented immigrants in this country, if he prevailed in this case, it would have meant that the president can decide to reinterpret, to rewrite the 14th Amendment. And today's decision is a very fundamental repudiation of President Trump's efforts. Going into this holiday weekend with the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence, I feel an extra sense that when all of us band together to fight back against government officials who are trying to take away our rights, we can win. So it'll be a really special 4th of July for all of us.
Cecilia Wong, you have earned whatever your July 4th celebrations are, a big day for you and for this country. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Alicia.